Hello to the amazing longevity leaders audience. I'm Sergey Young. I'm so happy to be opening this third annual Congress. And I'd like to start by giving you an overview of what is happening today in the field of longevity. I actually call it longevity revolution to set the stage for the next 3 great days. Let's go through 7 signs of longevity revolution together. Before we do that, who is Sergey Young? My mission is to change 1 billion lives by bringing affordable and accessible version of healthcare and longevity to the world. To do that, I founded $100 million Longevity Vision Fund, which supports the companies and entrepreneurs with the same aspirations and same mission. I'm also innovation board member of California-based X Prize Foundation. We're working on launching Age Reversal X Prize competition by the end of this year. It's going to be competition of very different longevity related technologies, which will help us to reverse aging. I'm also a book author. In Longevity Vision Fund, we're looking at 200 longevity technology companies a year. And it's enormous information flow. It gives me a lot of insight. So I wanted to share it with the world. So my book called The Science and Technology of Growing Young, going to be available this summer. Feel free to pre-order that. Okay, 7 signs. Sign number 1 is about environment. And when you read the news today, you have a sense that the world is just falling apart. I think it's not. I think environment around us is becoming much more safer and fundamentally longevity friendly. Think about timberlands. Think about the world becoming a greener place. China and India alone added 10% of their timberland area in the last decade. That's amazing. Or think about the introduction of driverless cars. If we're all going to be using driverless cars, mortality from car accidents will go down by a factor of 10. That's enormous impact on our lifespan. Or I'm a big fan of plant-based and lab-grown food and meat or fish or whatever we're going to create from that. And I do think that the more we use that, more healthier and happier we're going to be as a species on this planet. I think it's much more environmentally friendly and more friendly for our body. So that's about environment. My second sign is about medicine, which is shifting today towards much more personalized and preventive version of it. And the best example for me is my Apple Watch or a Ring or Fitbit, Samsung Watch, whatever the wearables you're using. I think it's already becoming a personalized healthcare device for all of us. Current version of Apple Watch can take electrocardiogram, or it can detect if you fall down on the street and can call ambulance for you. Samsung Watch, I think, introducing this year the feature of measuring glucose in your blood. Or I think in the next 1 or 2 years, we're going to see more measurement abilities for these devices, like measuring blood pressure. I think if we add these 2 features, like glucose monitoring and blood pressure monitoring, it's going to be in total 90 or 95% of data, which I would like to measure and know on a regular basis to track my health. And then it works in combination with artificial intelligence. Last 2 years, when I've done my checkups in Human Longevity Center in California, my scans was first scanned by artificial intelligence. And then I had a discussion with radiologists. Oh, that's enormous improvement, because combination of human doctor and artificial intelligence is 99% successful in terms of the detecting of early stage of cancer, while human doctor alone is only 38% effective. Moreover, while we outsource this whole technological and computerized and data-driven tasks to computers and artificial intelligence, doctors will have more time to actually establish connection with the patient and come back to the old times when it was a good dialogue rather than just a few minutes of attention time from medical professional. Sign number 3 is about the new players which are coming into healthcare space. When I talk about healthcare, what kind of companies comes to my mind? I'm thinking about insurance companies. I'm thinking about big pharma. I'm thinking about hospital chains. I do believe that in 10 years from now, the largest healthcare companies on earth going to be called Google, going to be called Amazon, going to be called Apple and Microsoft probably. And I do think that the change in healthcare will come not from the old players doing new things. The change in the healthcare system will come from the new players doing completely different things, new things. And watch out, Apple. Apple has this enormous ability to surprise us, how they can disrupt so many different sectors, so many different spaces. I was just looking at Morgan Stanley report saying that Apple can make up to 50% of its revenue from healthcare by the end of this decade. So that's exciting. Sign number 4 is about regulation. And some of us would say, why regulation is important. And I want you to do a small experiment. Just go to pharmacy, to the drugstore that you have on your street, whether it's Boots, Walgreens, or CVS, whatever the brand is, and ask for a cure or the drugs against aging. Well, they would think you're crazy, or they would just send you to cosmetics or supplements section. Well, this is counterintuitive because, as you know, our chances to get severe disease, I call them killer monsters, like heart stroke or cancer or diabetes or neurodegenerative disease, increases exponentially with our age. And the problem is that while aging is not recognized as disease, even if you pour billions of dollars into research and development in fighting aging, you're not going to have your intellectual property protected. You will not pay back your investment. So there is no economic model today which would give us an opportunity to fight cancer by investing $100 billion into this space. Well, things are changing. Back in 2018, World Health Organization already added a new code called old age in its disease classification system. This is very exciting. I want you to watch out. At the moment when FDA or any other major regulator on earth will recognize aging as an important risk factor or as a disease, $100 billion of R&D money going to be poured into this place every year. It's going to be similar to cancer. Well, 80 to $100 billion, which is coming every year into fighting cancer, already produced enormous results. That's my sign number 5. I'm actually using our fight against cancer as an example. Again, remember 80 to $100 billion, depending on the year, coming into space in a sector which we take in fighting cancer. And we already see early results of that. I do think that we're right in the middle of winning the war against cancer. And the reason being, we put a lot of focus on early diagnostic. And remember, we discussed earlier today that if you do an early diagnostic of cancer, your chances to recover is anywhere between 93 to 100%, depending on the cancer type. And think about 20 years ago, cancer was key of that. People were delaying the day when they knew that if they have cancer or not, because after that your diagnosis is cancer, you're gonna stay just for a few months on this planet. So things are really changing, and I'm very excited about what we're doing in the anti-cancer space. My sign number 6 is about economics of aging. And I do think that it's actually starting to turn positive because we recognize 2 important things. One thing is about silver tsunami, and world population is changing dramatically in terms of its demographic. Today, we have 1 billion people who are 60 and above in terms of the age on Earth. In 30 years' time, this number will double. And by the end of the decade, we're going to have 3 billion people living on this planet who has their age of 60 years old and above. So that's kind of one thing. And countries, corporations, and we humans start to recognize that. Well, the good news that the older part of population is becoming more and more productive. They stayed in the workforce. The share of people who are 65 plus in the workforce and are still in productive stage and contribute to the economy increased from 20 to 32% in the last 20 years, and more of this coming. So watch out for people who are turned what 60 or 70 around you, and see how active, how healthy they became. That's actually bring us to last and the seventh signs, which is the sign about us augmenting ourselves. I do believe that in few decades from now, we're going to redefine what it means human body and what it means for us, the thing like human mind. We're going to be talking about human species, Homo sapiens 2.0. And we're going to be using very different technologies for this, like human brain AI integration that we discussed today, or artificial body parts, which are going to be totally replaceable. And like an old car, we can always extend our resources and our capacity. Or we're going to be using gene editing and genetic engineering. We just need to solve the biggest barrier behind this technology. And I do believe this barrier is not about science and technology. This barrier about ethics. I'm actually doing my TEDx talk pretty soon called Morality of Immortality, which is focused on the ethical aspect of life extension. It's very difficult, but very exciting as well. Before we finish for today, I wanted to share with you the framework that we at Longevity Vision Fund use in putting different longevity technology innovation in the different buckets. I call them 3 horizons of longevity. And the first horizon is actually today. This is what we can use now to extend our lifespan, to live to at least 100 healthy and happy years. And we discussed this already. I'm thinking about wearables. I'm talking about early cancer diagnostic, different ways of digital healthcare deliveries, like telemedicine, or different medical software and applications, like mental health applications, which are super popular and super useful today for our health. Horizon 2 is about technologies which are going to be available to us in the next 5, 10, 15 years. This is actually the major focus of Longevity Vision Fund. And we invest in longevity therapy and editing. We invest in stem cells treatment, more actually in regenerative medicine overall, in use of nanobots and nanorobots in healthcare, and use of artificial intelligence in drug discovery and in diagnostic. Again, we discussed this radiologist example, which is much more effective in combination with AI. So I do think that Horizon 2 and technologies which are going to be available in the next 1 or 2 decades will help us to break this sound barrier of 122 years of maximum lifespan we have on record on Earth. And we can live few more decades of healthy and happy lives after this. And then we talk about Horizon 3. These are technologies which are going to be available to us in the next 25 to 50 years. And I'm thinking about times when we're going to be able to reverse aging, when our brain going to be integrated with computer power and with artificial intelligence, our body parts going to be replaceable, and we're going to be using human avatars. The whole world going to be Internet of Bodies, and we're going to be much more technological, engineered, healthier, and happier version of ourselves. That's it for today. I just wanted to thank you. Feel free to order my book. I would like to continue conversation with you, and I would like to share more about exciting things that we see in Secret Labs, and we discuss and we fund through entrepreneurs who have in the same mission of human life extension and bring in 10, 20, or even more of healthy and happy years to our lives. Go to sergeyyoung.com, sign up for our newsletters, and I want you to be healthy and happy. Thank you for today.